Alright guys, we just want to take a quick look at something that I see taught quite a bit today in real world or reality based self-defense, however you want to term it really. But it's not that we're knocking anybody's things or anything like that, it's just we want to take a look at it from our perspective and the principles and the methods that we use as self-defense and some of these things that we wouldn't necessarily do. We want to show you the reasons why that is. But they're using like a rear choke and getting out of it, or from like a choke or a close grab and peeling the hands down and away, which is always good. You know, we use that quite a bit ourselves, but they'll peel it away and then they'll go into this chop. Bang, 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 and they're pushing people back over and over and over again, right? And their understanding or their reasoning behind doing this is that under duress or under the stress of an attack, you're going to only have gross motor skills. You're not going to be able to use, you know, a lot of the techniques and stuff like that taught in martial arts today. I semi-agree with that, semi-don't agree with that. But the big problem with it is they're continuing to hit with one hand. Usually it's like a chop, a chop, a chop, right? They're hitting down to the collarbones or the throats and then to the face. But realistically speaking, hit, 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 hit. It's all done with like one hand, and then they'll throw the second hand in at the end of it, right? You're giving the person multiple chances to escape or counter you or move or get anything in the way, right? Because you're only hitting with one hand. You can only hit with one hand so fast, okay? We have two hands for a reason. There's never a time we shouldn't use it unless we're injured, right? Never a time you shouldn't utilize all the tools that you have. So we definitely don't want to be here doing this thing, right? I don't have anything against the attacks individually, right? Or even used in combination with something else. But like I said, you know, this guy is hanging out, not doing anything at all. It should be used to overwhelm the attacker. The other parts of it I don't like. You're not really hitting anything that's shifting or moving the balance of the attacker, right? You know, there's nothing there that's moving their center line, okay? And, you know, if you're a student of mine before or you follow any of my stuff, we're really big on keeping the person occupied, moving, shifting their balance. If you're off balance, you can't fight back, all right? That's just not going to do it. I like the concept of the forward pressure and everything like that, but this isn't so good all by itself. So, you know, once again, you know, just look at it, you know, whether it's a close grab and a peel, they're lifting up, they're chopping, they're pressing, chopping, they're alternating sides, bang, bang, bang.
And you know,
bang.
I just don't feel like I have a lot of power and I can do much damage or anything like that, especially if he's taller than me. I have that much to work with and I can't come down any farther, so.
Absolutely, yeah, great observation. And it tends to be a norm for women to be shorter than guys, right? And you know, we're actually not too much of a difference, and she's still feeling a little bit of a problem physics-wise, right? Gaining any power, lifting the arm up, right? And we're also telegraphing what we're doing, right? Anytime you pull back, telegraphing, you're showing the person what's going to happen, right? But she's absolutely correct. To lift up her frame up over my shoulder means the only thing that she can use for power generation here is all from the arm, right? She doesn't have her frame behind it at all. There's nothing backing that motion. So if we look at this from our perspective, things that we would do, right? Like I said, it doesn't matter how you get there, the concept's the same, right? If it's from a choke or from something like this, you know, I like the collecting of the arms, I like shifting the balance, you can see her frame move and everything like that. Granted, your tactic should change on body type, right? Could you imagine her chopping away at some guy that's like 6'5" and 230 pounds? Right? Even I'm not going to be able to do that, and I'm a fairly tall guy, but I'm going to be hitting a lot of padding and smack, and the guy's going to laugh at me. And I know because I've trained some guys that are exactly that size, you know. And it's not something you go into just flailing about wildly, right? You need to calculate what's going on, and you need to use good principles, you know, that apply physics and weaknesses to the human body and stuff if you're going to go against something like that. So, you know, you can lay on like what they're terming the chin jab and stuff like that these days, but I would never use it in a single plane of motion. I'm not going to walk through somebody she could take a few steps back and I'm going to be chasing her down the whole time, right? Everything we do, we try to use multiple planes of movement, right? Something that the body does not adapt to very well, okay? So if you're going to come in and get at the face it all, right, we like to run our checklist. We like to use our principles, right? Change the priorities of the attacker. Whether you're attacking into the eyes, right, removing vision, you know, simultaneously wrapping the chin around, because now we're using two planes of motion, right? It's pretty hard for her, or pretty hard for anyone, as a matter of fact, to get out of that. And once you reach and past this point, you know, physics tells us, I mean, you kind of have them in your pocket, right? There's nothing that's going to stop that from working. And from that point, if you want to sit there and bang away with one arm at your leisure, that's fine. But as far as entering in on somebody with something like that, it's not going to work very well. You're going to have an incredibly precise shot, and you're going to have to take that collarbone out like instantaneously, or you're really going to have to seal the carotid or something to knock them out, right? It makes much more sense to go straight into the vision, or straight into the throat, or going into head wraps and stuff, right? Almost anything can work if you run the checklist right? And you can set up, you know, if you're following any of my stuff, you can set up the checklist however you want to, whichever principles you want to use. But, you know, balance and vision are always going to be a huge key in that. So whatever you do, it needs to move the attacker's balance off, right? It needs to destroy his structure. Otherwise, he's still going to be strong, right? Good. You can see like the head wrap around anytime you're utilizing that chin to wrap up. Tweaks my neck around, right? Forward, back, your neck still isn't very strong, but once you add up multiple planes, right, I'm definitely not countering that, right? It's going to twist my entire structure all the way up. Try to get, I like that one, but try to get bunches of stuff.
Okay.
Like eyes and face are back, so I hit throat. Bang, so I hit bladder, right? And then you, if you want, you know, you can come across, you know, good. Now those are just, you know, short clip examples and stuff. We didn't really make anything up technique-wise to come and show you guys, right? That was just utilizing a few of the principles that we work on all the time, right? Off balancing, breaking the structure. You know, that last time she was striking opposites, you know, hitting the vital points, coming into the eyes, exposing the throat, hitting the throat, you know, down into the bladder and then back into the head somehow as the body rocks forward, right? And that's just all a matter of hitting opposites, right? It's pretty common sense stuff. You hit up, you expose low. You hit low, you expose up, right? I mean, the principles are there to show us, not to tell us what to hit. You know, this is technique number one and it works all the time. It's not like that. You just hit whatever targets expose themselves, right? But we try to be one step ahead by knowing what's going to be exposed, right? By forcing that body movement, right? Now these are just a few examples. You can come up with an infinite amount of stuff, but look for the good principles, right? There's no reason to sit here. If she had gone through that whole series one-handed, it would have been head, back, throat, back, bladder, back, head. You know, you can see you cut the time in half and you're utilizing all your weapons when you come into it, you know, in a manner like that. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever not to do something like that. And you're also fighting forward. You're fighting into the person, right? And super important when we talk about center line theory and people's compass points, right? You've got to fight at them. Running somebody away doing this is only going to, you know, get a smart fighter here to spin you off and start hitting you, right? It doesn't do very good to cross yourself up, to lift your arm up above your head, right? We'll close right in and and smack you, and that's what you should have been doing in the first place. So once again, just some quick tips of things that we like to look for, and study is how the body moves. Can we make anything more efficient? I do think that real self-defense should be pretty simple, but at the same time, don't sell yourself short. Don't sit here one-handed when you've got multiple tools at your disposal. Thank you for watching.